Howdy everybody, it's prediction time. So we're going to be previewing the first Easter game, which takes place Good Friday, as the Mariners are at home to bottom of the table Harrogate. And I'll give you all the facts and whatever. I'm going to be using Soccer Punter for the stats, the previews and all that good stuff. And also we'll talk about what Artel said in his post-match, in his pre-match press conference, of course, and about injuries and so on and so forth. So, without further ado, let's crack on with it. As we know, the Mariners are, like I said, in league action on Friday. As I said, it's at home to Harrogate, one of our remaining 3 home league fixtures. And on paper, you are probably going to say the easiest of the 3. I'm going to turn it around and say the hardest of the 3. And I'll say that with them being bottom. If we look at recent form for the two sides, it's 3 wins for the Mariners, a draw and a defeat in the last 5 games, whereas Harrogate have won 1 and lost the other 4. And obviously people were, when Artel was spoke to, obviously by, of course, the club media, they always do 2 interviews on media day, and also was interviewed by Matt Dean at Radio Humberside, and obviously he said that everyone seemed to be refreshed and they're ready to go. They had most of obviously last week off. I think they came back in on the Friday last week, and most of them returned this week for that. It was asked obviously about injuries and the possibility of re-seeing Zach Gilzenon. There is probably talk of him maybe returning from his loan from Gateshead. I think that could come down to certain injuries. And, Zach's done well while away. So, at Buxton and at Gateshead. So, if needed to be called upon, why not bring Zach back if need be? Obviously, the Mariners have got a 24-hour recall period where they could call him back if they feel needed. I think that's all down to injuries. When he was asked about the injuries, obviously, that we've got, Jamie Walker, Charles Burnham, Cam Gardner, and a couple of the others that we obviously got. He said a couple have trained, a couple haven't. That was Artel trying to be as honest as he could without giving too much away. I feel like Ev could be one that is more long-standing. Looks like Jamie Walker has, and I'm hoping Chaz has as well. But we'll obviously know on the match day. But I do think it could be Ev that might be longer term. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But if I was to take a guess, we might be without Evan Coy for the remainder of the season. I've just got that feeling, but we shall see. Geza obviously is back from the international break with the Faroe Islands. So is Clark Adore. And obviously Jude is back as I record this. He's back on tomorrow, so he's back on Thursday, and see what shape he's going to be in for the game. Also, um, Matt Dean did ask Artel about the rumour of Andy Cook. Um, uh, Possibly, is that something they could be looking at going into next season? Very coy with that. Very we'll basically see how it goes further down the line. But he does like Andy Cook. He gets on with Andy Cook, and he seems to be enjoying his time here. You can definitely see that in some of the training photos, especially the one that Town put out earlier with him and Walks. So that's real fun. So, but you know, it's great to have. I've always said it's great to have the options that we've actually got. Obviously, spoke about Harvey Rogers. Nobody on the spot. Obviously, Harvey Rogers have signed a contract extension. And David Artel calls him the best right back in the division. He hasn't seen any player sort of get past Harvey Rogers. He's turning into a Des Walker. No one can get past Des Walker, which is what they used to say at Forest. But nobody beats Des Walker, is it? Nobody can skim Harvey Rogers. But obviously that broke over the international break of Harvey signing an extension. Great to have Harvey back on the books. So and obviously he'll be fit and ready to go for the busy Easter program, and a very busy month for the Mariners this April, because between Good Friday and the end of the season, we've got 8 games over that time. So hopefully the injuries keep improving and the Mariners can have a real good go at the remaining 8 games. If we look at a few stats now for the Harrogate game, you will see that, or as people will know, that Harrogate actually have the upper hand on Town in recent times. In the last 11 meetings between the two, Grimsby Town have only won 18% of the time, which equates to 2 victories in 11, 5 for Harrogate and 4 draws in that time. So, not necessarily the best record. If we look at the last 5 games between the two, going back all the way back to 2023, the 23-24 season, Harrogate did the double over us in that season. Harrogate got a 2-1 win in the 23rd of December, and obviously in the April, Harrogate won 1-0 at their place, and then last couple of seasons, Grimsby won the game on Boxing Day of 2024, a 2-1 win there for the Mariners. Like I said, only our second win over Harrogate, and a 2-2 draw, which really did in the end cost us the playoffs last season. We were 2-0 up in that game and ended up dropping it 2-2. But we kind of had a redemption of sorts back in August, when we travelled to Harrogate and got a 3-3 draw. Harrogate were 3-1 up, and we battled back to get a real creditable draw. Obviously, everyone remembers the trip before that, like I said, back in April, last April, a year ago, almost exactly. it was Kieran Green's shot from the halfway line, which rightly won goal of the season. I can't see why it wouldn't. They did. So, obviously Harrogate are going to be very sort of buoyed playing us, but they're probably going to also be a little bit shell-shocked. If we look at the odds for the game, the Mariners are odds on at most places, but you can get them at 14 to 25. 9 to 2 is the best price you can get for Harrogate. Look around for other places. 3 to 1 is the draw. Some places, but do gamble responsibly. Please do that. And please do not gamble what you cannot afford to lose. That's one thing I've always said when you're having a bit of a flutter on the games. In regards to, like I said, the statistics of the game, like I said, Harrogate losing last time out to Notts County, and they were a little bit toothless in that game. But as Barrow showed, after we beat them 5-0 in our last game, they then went to Leaders Bromley and won. So it just kind of shows you that you can never take a team lightly. If we look at the longest winning run, we've had 5 wins in a row. We have 5 wins in a row. 2 for Harrogate is the most, the longest run without a loss. 10 for Grimsby, 5 for Harrogate. Longest run without a win, 9. That was obviously that period between the end of October and the 29th of December, when we couldn't seem to buy a win for love nor money. Clean sheets though, we've had 15 clean sheets this season to Harrogate 7. The top goal scorer is Duke McKenna. I think he's just on his way back. I believe he did play 5 or 10 minutes or so against Notts County. Jace Cabier is the top goal scorer with 12 goals in the league, but 15 goals in general for Jays. Obviously, Chaz Burnham is our top assist getter. Hopefully, he'll be back very soon, Chaz. Whether we gamble with him over Easter, who knows? But we'll find out what happens with Chaz in the next couple of weeks or so. Reece Smith is their top assist maker. The biggest victory this season, obviously, for the Mariners is that 7-1 win over Cheltenham at Wundle Park. The biggest victory for Harrogate is a 3-0 win. The biggest defeat is a 3-0 defeat, well done, well beaten by Barnet for Town. And the biggest defeat for Harrogate is a 4-0 defeat. It's quite an interesting one. And like I said, you can't take games like this lightly. If you look at the actual table, at the moment the Mariners lie just outside the playoffs in 8th. That's 17 wins from 38 games, 11 draws and 10 defeats, scoring 56 goals, conceding 40. That's a plus 16 goal difference with 62 points. But obviously it's very tight between 7th and 12th. There really is only 3 points between those teams. That's involving Chesterfield, Oldham, Walsall and Barnet, including Crewe. Of course, in that. Harrogate, though, are bottom. They've played 40 games. The final 6 games for them, they've only won 7 of those. They've drew 9 and they've lost 24. But they are the lowest scorers in the division by a country mile. They've only scored 29 goals this season. They have conceded 60 goals with a minus 31 goal difference. They're now 4 points from safety, 30 points in total for Harrogate, especially after Barrow's win, Newport winning and Crawley winning, it really was probably the worst weekend for Harrogate that it could have been. And they didn't really look like troubling Notts County all that much, because I watched both our Easter opponents. I did watch Harrogate and I watched Crawley. But we'll talk about Crawley in the next preview, which will be happening Sunday morning. So look out for that. That will be coming out then. So it will be a busy time for videos after I've had a little while off. But thank you to the people for the reaction to videos, and anyone that has interacted. I do appreciate it. What do I think Artel will play for this? I think he'll, depending on the fitness of Charles Burnham, I got a feeling he's gonna want to go for this. But obviously Simon Weaver's side, we obviously know a player. Obviously now they're getting Jake McKenna back, but we actually know a couple of players, really. Lewis Cass, former man last season, and of course the one with one of the hardest shots I've ever seen in my entire life, Mr. Bryn Morris, is still at Harrogate Town, and boy do we know he can hit them. So a couple of former Mariners in there for us to look out for Harrogate. I think if Chaz isn't available, I think we are going to go for Dara Burns, and you're going to say Jace Cavier down that wing, but Justin Malazor is putting himself in position if he wants to go direct winger. He could do that, but I think he will go Jace Cavier again if Chaz is not fit. I think he's going to go Andy Cook again, and I can't see why you wouldn't. Think of the trouble that Andy Cook could give those Harrogate defenders. It's people. Some people criticise Andy Cook, but not many. But some people that do. He just offers you so much. He's got that definite goal threat, but the pressure he puts the defenders under is absolutely immense. Like I said, 2 big games coming here, but not only would I say Andy Cook, I think Karen Green will be in. In the centre midfield, obviously you'll have the 2 players there. I think Reece Stoughton should continue. I like that though, because you've got the pick between Reece and Sweens. You could play either of them 2 really, and I would be happy. I think Harvey Rogers is going to go again to his normal right back position. He was signed as a centre back originally, but really found a home at right back. So you think that. I think Kasuri could continue at centre back. Obviously Jackson Smith. I think you've got to play Jacko still. I think for the remainder of the season, really. You'd say the team in general is very, very close to picking itself, but we've got threats all over the place. And what's my prediction for this one? Well, I'm not going to go like some fans probably would after winning 5-0 against Barrow. I'm not going to go 5-0, but I am going to go for a Grimsby Town win. I'm going to go for 3-0. And I'm going to go for a Cook brace and a KBA goal. I think Andy Cook to score 2 and James KB to score the other one. What's this? It'll be the way round, but there we go. They have got a good understanding. between them, Jason and Andy. So be interesting to see how that works. But it's one of these games, though, guys. Just to finish, it's one of those games where it looks easy because of where Harrogate's position is, and but as we saw when we played Fleetwood, we nicked it very, very late. Don't be fooled by league position. As Barrow showed last week, do not be fooled by league position. You know, we have to be professional. I know the lads will be, but in regards to getting the result, we have to be professional against, especially against Crawley and Harrogate. In fact, I call these two games over Easter the most difficult games. I think, including, I'll add Gillingham to that as well. They're the most difficult games because if you take your eye off the ball, teams at the bottom, and we've done it ourselves when we've been at the bottom, teams at the bottom can come and kick you right up the arse. So we need to be sort of as prolific and as intentful as we were against Barrow. Like to get the game sort of done and dusted early, but appreciate the threats that Harrogate have got, and hopefully we can nullify any of their threats, kind of like how Notts did on Saturday lunchtime. So I'm saying 3-0. Guys, let me know down below what you think heading into this Easter weekend. And like I said, 8 games in a month. 8 games in 30 days for the Mariners. It's going to be a busy, busy time of predictions, previews, all that good stuff. Can the Mariners break the top 7? We just missed out last year. Can we? We've got 2 games in hand, obviously, on... or we've got games in hand on teams around us. Obviously, teams sort of Oldham, we've got a game in hand. Against Crewe, we've got 2 in hand. Walsall, we've got 2 in hand on them. Barnet, 2 in hand on them. But you just need to focus on one game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Mariners come out of a very, very busy time. We've only got 2 Saturdays at home left. The rest of them are away from home. So let me know what you guys think down below. Can the Mariners get into those playoffs? But what we have to do, we just have to focus on ourselves. I know for a lot of fans that's going to be very, very difficult to do because you're going to be thinking about other teams' results. But I go back to something that Artel said in the Barrow preview. The table will take care of itself as long as you get the results. Because then, if you get the results, what the other team... You can worry about what the other team have done after you've got your result. But get your result first and then see where you go. And I think we're in a positive position as well because we, in the running, we play Chesterfield, we play Crewe, we play Swindon, we play Cambridge, you know, teams around us. We play them. So it is really in our hands whether we do or we don't. But let me know what you think down below of this game. This game against Harrogate. What's your score prediction? What's your team? What do you think Artel will do team-wise? Or will he slip into his usual team? Obviously when Chad isn't available. Let me know down below what you think. I'll be intrigued. And how many points do you think? I was asked by somebody, just before I finish, I was asked by somebody, it was after the Barrow game actually, how many games do you think Town need? How many more points do you think Town need? I'll drop and say, I think we need 15 more. I think we need to win at least 5 out of the 8 that we've got left. That's minimum, because I think if we don't, we could. We've got to make sure it's in our hands, though, and the only way you can do that is by winning games. We have got some winnable games. We've got a couple of tough games, but I've said a minimum of 5 wins out of the 8. I think we need to get. So we shall see what comes about for this. The goal difference is good, so everything's good going so far. We'll just see how we get to this. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know your scores down below, and I will see you for a review of the Good Friday game, the Harrogate game, and obviously on Sunday I will be quickly previewing the Crawley game. But until then, guys, up the Mariners. I will see you at Wundle Park on Good Friday, and hopefully it'll be another 3 points in the right direction for the Mariners. But like I said, we just have to be aware and respectful of what Harrogate could do, but also focus on what we do, and that's the most important thing. But like I said, guys, that's me done. Up the Mariners, and I'll see you in the review. Until then, guys, up the Mariners. I'll see you soon. Ta-da for now.